Okay, guys, so today we're going to talk about the Battlefront Classic Collection in 2025. It is actually today the 1 year anniversary of the game's release, and we all know the story about this game and the problems that it had, and the fact that it was pretty much dead on arrival due to all those bugs and issues, and the player count dropped pretty fast. So now, 1 year later, the game actually just went on sale, 20% off, as part of the Steam Spring Sale. And guess what? This is the current player count after it's on sale. 1 year later, 3 active players. And I'm pretty sure that those 3 players are probably playing like single player or something and not even online. Because you cannot find any servers. And that extends to every platform, by the way. It's not just PC. Because at least with PC, you can understand the player count being lower because you do have access to the original versions, the original Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, which, by the way, if you do go ahead and buy the original games on Steam instead of the Classic Collection, you actually buy the games individually. Not only will you have more players online, it's cheaper, you have access to more mods and more content, and it's just overall a better experience. There's no bugs or issues for the original games. It runs perfectly on Windows 11, and even if you are a console gamer, you are still better off just going on Steam and buying the original games because of the fact that the games are over 20 years old now, so therefore you won't have any problem running the game no matter how powerful your PC may be. Because even on consoles, on the PlayStation version, the Xbox version, and the Nintendo Switch versions, there are no players online. You'll maybe get like 5 players in one server if you're lucky, because the game has no crossplay support whatsoever. That, pretty much killed the game from the start. And that was one thing that was like a huge red flag when this game was first announced and I was learning details about it. I'm like, this game's gotta have crossplay, right? Then when I found out it didn't, I'm like, oh, hell no. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that this game, it could have been something, it could have been a good way to play this game in 2025, to play these 2 classic FPS games that, me personally, hold a very special place in my heart. They were among the first games that I ever played in my entire life. It was like a ritual. After every day in 2nd grade, I'd come home, boot up Battlefront 1, instant action, play like every single map, and I couldn't get enough of it. I really couldn't. I loved it to death. But this re-release does not do it any justice. Like, especially considering the fact that if you get the original games, they're like 2 gigabytes each to download. But if you get the Classic Collection, it's 35 gigabyte install. Not that 35 gigabytes is a lot of storage space in the grand scheme of things, but where's this extra storage space coming from? They only added like 4 new heroes that weren't there in the original game, and a few maps from Battlefront 1 that they ported over to Battlefront 2, but it doesn't make any sense to go from like maybe 4 or 5 gigabytes total to download both games to over 35? Like, what the hell? So, all in all, this game is a complete waste of your time. There's still a lot of visual bugs and glitches that take away from the experience, and doesn't really add anything to the game that was not there before. And even the stuff that it does add, like the new heroes and everything, you could just simply download mods for free to get that anyway. And above all else, even if it was like just a perfect port, the fact that the online is completely dead, and that's like the entire appeal for me at least, is because when I grew up playing this game, I didn't have the opportunity to play the game online at the time because I was 6, 7 years old, had no idea how to connect the PS2 to Ethernet and do all those different things. I had no clue. So I never got to experience this game online in its prime. It would have been nice to relive that and finally be able to experience it, but you really can't with the Battlefront Classic Collection. There are more players on the standalone versions on Steam than any of the versions that the Classic Collection has. And full transparency, the gameplay you see is actually the regular version of Battlefront 2, because even though it's only $20 or $25, whatever the price is for the Classic Collection on sale right now, I'm not gonna buy it only to just refund it like an hour after playing, just so I can make a quick video about it. Like, I already know that this game's not worth it. I have enough information to know that I'm not going to get any value out of it. Plus, doing enough research for every individual platform, the player counts the exact same way. You look at the Steam chart, it's a joke. And I already have the original games. I could see there being some potential value if you can get it really, really, really cheap If you're serious about achievements and trophies, because the original games do not have support for that, so if you like to platinum games and get everything in there, then it might be worth it, but again, only if it's like really, 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 really cheap. Because even on sale right now, it seems too expensive for what they're offering. I mean, even the Grand Theft Auto trilogy was a much better release and version of those games than the Battlefront Classic Collection is for the original Battlefront games. It's sad, but true. So I do not recommend that you buy this in 2025. You will be incredibly disappointed.